All right, so we're not even going to bother hopping on the bike here. I don't even have the helmet on. What we're going to do here is we're going to show you the next point of interest. So right here, there was several things. First of all, there was a very large water tank. This was one of the original water tanks on the line. And then beside it here, there was a couple of structures. So I'm guessing that there was a pump house and then possibly a section house here for the pump man. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. There's a building that's over here as well, and this building is most likely one of the original structures here. So again, thanks to Jim for the information. And essentially this may have been the location of a construction camp when they were building the railway line. So over here you can see the foundation for the tank, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about it and talk to you a little bit more about what was going on here, because we actually have a kind of a little bit of a personal insight into what was happening here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the water tank. So again, the tank was built at the same time the line was built, right? So again, it looks all the same as all the other tanks. Again, if you go to the link in the description, you'll be able to see some pictures of the water tank from the 1950s, and there's pictures. Probably the best one we have is the one at Dona. So this tank was used, the tank was used until for some reason it was discontinued in 1933. And what they did was in the 1940s, they actually built a tank further west at Yanaka, just a little ways away, and then they only used that tank for about 3 years, and then they shut it down and they resurrected this tank, Luna, and they used this tank from 1950 until 1958. Now before okay. Now, before I show you some maps and things like that, one of the interesting things about this location is we actually have an idea of who lived here. And so there had to be somebody to man the tank, because you didn't want the water in the tank to freeze. So in the 1911 census, and again, I'll show you this, it shows 2 people living here. What appears to be a G. Brush and his wife Rachel, and his occupation is listed as a tank man. Now in the 1921 census, it clarifies, it either says the documentation says Carnell, but it looks like Carnwell Bush, the wife Rachel, and they had a daughter. So now there's a Sophia that is listed here as well. Stop. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a closer look at the tank here. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at the water tank. You can see how its proximity to the grade. It's literally right beside the grade, right? So the grade's here, it's feet from the grade. So again, you can see that octagonal shape, exactly identical to the one at Dona. We'll put a link in the description. You can go take a look at that one. You can see that one much better. It's not covered with all the gravel that and ballast that this one is. You can see the attachment points for the wooden structure. Again, make sure you go to my page and you go check out the pictures of the water tank. Many thanks to Jim and Jim for the pictures. And so you can imagine buried under here would be the big pad. And at some point here there would be the uptake pipes. You can see this piece here. These two look like rail holders. These do not look like part of the water tank. These look like they were put here, maybe, I don't know. I don't remember seeing ones like this at the one at Dona, so that might be something a little bit different. So what we're going to do is I'll show you a really quick little a little piece from the drone, and you can see it looking down. You can see it's very windy today, and we had a heck of a time holding the drone steady, but we were able to get at least about 10 seconds worth of video. Now, before we run away here, the story of this location doesn't end. So from 1961 to 1976, there was a flag stop located here, and then probably unofficially until passenger service ended in 1985. So this was known as the tank, and it was the third of three flag stops in the area. So we documented the rock, the dock, and this one was known as the tank. And again, if you go to the link, if you go to my page, you'll actually see a photograph that was taken, and thanks to Jim for this picture, you can actually see the picture is taken like literally right here where the tank is, and there is a locomotive that's nosing out of the rock cut right here, and basically there's a person who's flagging down the locomotive, and it's obviously eastbound towards Thunder Bay. So in any case, what we'll do is we'll pause here momentarily, and then we'll resume our journey. All right, before we leave the tank area here, just wanted one more thing to show you. In my haste, I almost took off without documenting it. I'll give you a close-up view with the camera. So basically what we have here is one of our very rare rail holders. You will find them from place to place. So again, these were situated approximately every mile. Stop it. Every mile on the railway line, and basically they were used to pre-spot sections of rail, so that they would have them on hand, and so basically there would have been a metal cap on the top, and the rails would have basically come across, and there would have been another one over here. I think last year I looked and I didn't see the sister one to it, but basically there would have been two of them, and the lengths of rail would have been draped across, and that way they would have had rails on hand if they needed to replace a piece of rail if something happened to it. All right, so now let's resume our journey.